What's up, people? So I'm super excited today. Today's amazing guest. It's a Pooch Hall. Pooch, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Coach Igor. I appreciate you, man. I got to call him Coach Igor because he's coached my son for many years. So he's Coach Igor to me.
So, that's cool. I love that. So you guys hear that out. So he was like, "Where's that water from?" I was like, "Is it your sponsor? Is it Pooch Hall, which just stands for PH?" I was like, "Yes, exactly. That's it, Pooch Hall."
Make sure you get this Pooch Hall water. It's good for you.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, bro.
So we know each other for, I don't know,
couple
how many
years.
years.
It's been
at least 5,
6.
Yeah, at
something
least.
like that. Yeah.
So, and the way we got connected, so I had a pleasure to coach Jordan, right? And then we want to lead with the sports because everybody knows you by being a part of the game show, right? And then you played
NFL football player.
And then we got a show, which is the Chuck, and you play one of the greatest.
Well, on Chuck, I played Muhammad Ali, rest in peace to the greatest, and Ray Donovan, I was also a boxer, starring Liev Schreiber and the great John Voight.
Pooch, can you share with us, because we want to lead with sports, actually having the professional background, right, all the family. I still love sports. Sorry, guys, but I love sports every single day. I do it every day, so I push my kids to do it, right? Can you tell us a story, because not a lot of people, maybe somebody knows, but you actually did boxing pretty serious, right? At your early age. And then it's led to certain things, achievements as well. Can you start, like, why boxing? Where's that started? Was it the family? Was that just around you?
Yeah, well, and thank you for having me, bro. Like you said, we go way back. As athletes ourselves and as dads, we're super proud of them, and just happy to see them grow and just go to the next chapter of my sports background. I played football and boxed my whole entire life. But I started in boxing, and my father, he fought in the military. And one of the things about my dad, who just recently passed away, it's almost 2 months now. But the one thing he was adamant about, he goes, "I don't want you starting trouble in the street, but I want you to be able to defend yourself. And if trouble comes to you, you'll at least be able to defend yourself." So my dad, he taught me boxing early, and I got all these pictures, just kind of went through the photo album of myself boxing and stuff like that. But yeah, he taught me how to fight, and I won Southern New England Golden Gloves, 23-0 as an amateur fighter. And I got to tell you guys, but I've had like at least 100 fights. So I know how to really handle myself. People think, "Oh, he's just a boxer on TV and movies." I go, no, I throw those things for real. But what I want to share is, being able to carry yourself and the confidence that it gives you, because boxing and fighting is an art. And, when you have that about you, you carry yourself differently. And there's a confidence that I carried to where, I wasn't easily intimidated. You got to keep in mind, like, as a teenager, as a young man, I'm fighting men and going up against, other fighters and, big crowds and these smoky places,
places, right?
Oh my God. So, that was one thing that I'm very proud of and thankful to my dad to have that ability, because, there's a lot of people who don't know how to fight. And, some people are like, "Oh, I'm not about violence and this, that, and the other." And it doesn't necessarily have to be violence. It's just more about what it does for you as a person. Internally, right? Because you carry yourself differently with a confidence. And I think having confidence is so key to your upbringing, your development, and it's very important, as an athlete, to have that confidence moving forward.
Absolutely. That's insane. So yeah, I think the key point what Pooch is talking about, it's like and I make it like very simple, by you doing 10 push-ups in the morning. It's not by like you growing your biceps actually. you actually mentally train your brain,
Right.
saying, listen, I did that in the morning,
Mhm.
right? Carry yourself properly. You can open your chest a little bit, right? And then push you forward, right, for the future, whatever encouragement, like developments or achievements, right? This is what sports does to you, mostly intangible things, right? And then can you tell us a little bit? So you did boxing. Number one, Golden Gloves. That's a hell
That's
of
a
an
big
achievement.
deal. Yeah.
That's a big. If you talk to a professional boxer, and then I won. That's a big thing. It's a big
Yeah.
time.
Well, like, I'll give you an example. Like, so shout out to my guy Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, who just recently had a fight this past last weekend, and a lot of people were trying to give them a bunch of crap, like it wasn't a real fight. Mike wasn't really fighting. Jake, he had this whole, performance thing. They could have knocked each other out. Here's the thing. You don't play around with boxing. And Jake, who is an athlete, from what I understand, he wrestled in high school. We've done some charity events together. I know Mike. And at that point in time, they're putting on a show. It's sports entertainment.
Absolutely.
And it's very dangerous to go in there, but I think Mike and Jake being friends prior, putting on a show, they don't want to hurt each other. You can get killed in the ring. So you want to have discipline.
Easily, right?
You want to make sure that you're coming in shape, because at any point in time, the wrong move, someone's going to get hurt. Yeah. And I know Jake and Mike aren't trying to hurt each other. They want to put on a good show. The fights before,
and they did, by the way. Right?
No, they put on a great show. I mean, they did big numbers. Netflix and those guys did big numbers. So shout out to them. And Jake is he's a sports entertainment athlete. Yeah, he's almost like a WWF guy, but doing it on the podcast streaming world, and he found his niche. So I salute him. And then Mike, man, who's become a superstar. He's one of my favorite fighters, and I'm really excited for them. But the thing I can honestly say is, having the skills of a fighter, you never lose that. So when we saw Mike training, that's within him. It's like, whether you're doing, because you swam and played basketball, water polo. Yeah. So you get in the pool, you're like a fish. That's like something you do. That's insane. You know what I mean? Or a basketball player in their sense memory with a jump shot, and a fighter throwing his combinations. It's within us that, once you have it, people can't take it away from us, but there's a discipline that comes with it for you to execute and to get to that place. And then you have to put on a show, and you want to come out as a winner. So there's a lot that goes into it, but the discipline and the mindset that's required. And Mike's 58 years old. He went the distance of 8 rounds, and what 58-year-olds doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is insane, right? Both of them, right? Jake Paul and big shout out to the guys, right? They did incredible show, no matter what the people are saying. Some people saying about that.
Everyone's gonna have something to say.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. And then trying to get on the ring once. So, but then he created that niche. The one thing, like, insane, incredible, and it's new, and I think it's a future as well. He himself created the niche of sports entertainment as like a one-man production. I'm talking about, there's a team behind it.
Oh,
but
bro,
it's like a new thing.
So that's what's great, Coach. Where when you come into your own, whatever it is, where you're the first, of your country, to where you're a water polo guy, and then you become an actor or a TV analysis or whatever. And it's just like, what is your thing that makes you special? And because each person, in my opinion, is born with a talent and a niche that, in my opinion, God blesses you with, to where go do something great with it. And with Jake, I feel And what was great is Jake's timing, where we were doing all these little celebrity basketball tournaments and
that's cool.
fitness stuff. And I always remembered Jake and Logan they were hilarious. And, you know, what makes them their own star is theirs. And so I feel what Jake did and Logan, they said, how can we turn this into something? So you, as a athlete, I mean, they've all done it for the most part, like Randy Macho Man Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, Lyle Alzado, Dennis Rodman, you know, being a villain of your sport, it makes people want to beat you. It makes people want to see you lose. And I think what Jake and Logan did, they said, we're going to take this and we're going to raise it a notch. Be the villains, be the internet sports villains, and let's see what happens. And so within wrestling, I think it's one of the reasons why The Rock became so famous and popular, because he was the bad guy. I mean, even Hulk Hogan at one time went dark. You know, Randy Macho Man Savage, Roddy Piper. And you take that formula when you watch the WWF, because in my opinion, the WWF were the first to where, oh, I hate that guy and I want to see him get pinned, or I want to see him lose. But there was still something cool about where you always watch them. And that's what Jake did. And he turned it into his thing. And now everybody wants to beat him.
Yeah, and the acceptance came from
my
public,
God.
right? Like, well, you know what? I want to be a part of that.
Well, not just that. No one can duplicate, because I've seen some other like celebrity boxing or influence boxing matches, and it didn't have the same
not even close.
spark. No, not even close to what Jake and Logan did. Yeah. And you know, they're entertainers, man, and they're good. They're really good. So I give them mad props, man. But you know, it's definitely a thing where you're able to take that ability of talent, you know, charisma and electricity, but also you got to be an athlete too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. With a mic.
Well, think about it. You can't be like that. Let's take Dennis Rodman, for example. You know, he's coming out with the dyed hair. Yeah. He's doing all his weirdness. He's dressing up in wedding dresses, but then he may end up with a double-double.
He doesn't look like a professional athlete. But then when he steps in on the court, right?
Oh, he
just turns into a machine.
Right. He is one of the major reasons why the Bulls had the run that they did.
Absolutely.
So you can't have that Bulls dynasty without Dennis Rodman. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
just my opinion.
I mean, it's a lot of people's opinion for sure. So let's move on, right?
Okay.
Let's do that.
No, it's all good.
So we got a second section, which again, let's talk a little bit more about your professional career, meaning so how you became an actor, like what triggers that thing. So how you find that internal passion of saying, you know what, I want to be in the movie, or maybe, you know, I can do that better than everybody else, or I don't know where that can you give us a little bit of transition?
Sure. Well, I think as athletes, and I know that you can identify with this, Coach, is, you know, we have a competitiveness in us. You know, for the most part, everybody wants to win. But when you're competing, you don't compete to lose. And as a boxer, as an amateur boxer, but as an amateur boxer and as a football player, I know what it means to compete where it's just me and the other person in the ring. And then I know what it means to be a part of a team, on a football team, to where you have to do your job to contribute to your team's win, per se. And I fell into Hollywood, where you know, at school I went to UMass Dartmouth in you know, Massachusetts, and my work study at school, I worked at the Frederick Douglass Unity House, and this kid came in with a model photo album. And at the time, people were like saying guy models were gay and all this other crap. But I was like, I want to see it. I want to see the book. You know, he had a portfolio.
Okay.
So no guys wanted to see the portfolio, but I'm comfortable and confident within myself. And I owe that to boxing, to where I don't have to put on this fake masculinity, I know I'm solid and comfortable with mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I looked at the book, and the thing about it was they're cool pictures. If you have a cool picture, it's a cool picture.
Yeah.
Whether it's a guy like walking shirtless on the beach, man, I'm looking at the art of it.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm an artist myself. I can paint, I can draw, I sketch, all that crap. Where I looked at the picture and I was like, this is cool. You know what I mean? I'm not like looking at him like, man, I leave your shirt off. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the you know what I mean? I'm looking at the photo.
I got you, yeah.
So I said to him, I believe his name was Chris, and I said, do you do TV and movies?
Okay.
He says, yeah, I've gone in for some commercials and soap operas. And I was like, whoa, I've always wanted to be on TV. And I mean, even when I was at school, for all the people at home who remember this, all the cats who I played football with, I used to make rap songs in the locker room and rap on the bus and all types of stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so he gave me his agent, their card at the time, and he said, give him a call. He said, no, what? Don't call him. Go down there.
Go down there.
And they were Dynasty models in Boston, and I started with them. And as soon as I went down there, and I had a bald head at the time, and she was like, saw a picture of me. She's like, grow your hair out, come back and see me. And so from there, I did all these like odd jobs around Boston. Then I signed with Abrams Artist, who was my New York agent. And then they hooked me up with the LA office of the branch. And I signed with Marty Rosenzweig, who's now, you know, she has her own management company now, because the agency no longer exists. But that's kind of how it happened. Like, you got to take the chance, in a sense, where you believe in yourself. And when you go in there, and this is something that I learned from John Voight, where you're going into a scene, and if it's him and I, we're competing. And what I mean by that is, the better John is in a scene, the better I'm in a scene.
You are, yeah.
So the better I am, the better he is. So it's almost kind of like, if you're looking at sports, two of the best, you know, athletes to make teams better and make other people better is, you know, Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. Yeah. So that's how it felt for me. And even when I'm not in a scene with them, I'm still trying to make other people better, because at the end of the day, coach, like, when you see the scene, I want people to walk away and be like, whoa, that scene was awesome. So, you know, started off with, you know, in commercials, small parts in movies, and, you know, and then the rest is history. And then I found my way, went from New York to LA. And so, yeah, man, it's just tons. I mean, my resume is crazy.
Yeah.
So I've done incredible. A lot.
Mm-hmm. So I like the facts. I wouldn't just double down on your words. So none of the guys had the confidence to look at that album.
How do you mean? Oh, yeah. Back at school.
Right?
Back at school.
Right? None of them. And I can understand, because there's social justice saying you're going to be this, and that. But because you internally, like, there's internal confidence in you because you boxed. Right? Because you did that job, work up front. So, and again, it's preparation, everybody's saying. So you got to be prepared to meet the success, right, at a certain point of your life. But that preparation in sports, you said, I can do it. You know, why not?
Right.
I'm confident internally, right? I can let them take a look. And it led you to the whole another world of opportunities.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I'm not saying, for you to have confidence, you got to be a boxer or a fighter.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, having gone through this regimen of boxing, because here's the thing, and let me just give you guys a little example. When you're gonna fight, so especially an amateur, when we're gonna have whatever, you know, exhibitions or tournaments, an amateur, you'll walk into a gymnasium or an auditorium or something where there's like 50, 60 fighters, all different sizes and shape. You don't know who you're going to fight.
Oh, wow.
So, we do the weigh-ins and you got to be there like at least 3 hours before because they got to go through all those weights and all that. And then they pair people up for the fights. So, everyone, they say, okay, all the 147 pounders, and then they base it off of record and gym and like what city you're from and all this, that, and the third, or what state you're from. And, they'll say, okay. And then they say, all right, Pooch, you guys fight 14. Igor, you are fight 3. So get ready. And you're like, and you got to get ready. And then you don't know who you're fighting, but you do know you're going to be fighting someone close to your weight class, or whether a little more advanced, a little less advanced. But here's the thing, you're going to fight. So all the fear and anxiety, you have it, and then as soon as you hit bing, it goes away. And you have to fight. And then there's all these people watching, and the one thing about fighting is you don't want to get knocked out. So you're going to get hit when you go in there.
Yeah.
So once you get over the fact that I'm going to get hit, because one of the late Goody Petronelli, who trained Marvelous Marvin Hagler in Brockton, that's where I'm from, he said to me one time, he said, what's one guarantee that's going to happen when you step in the ring? And I go, we're going to fight? He says, close. You're going to get hit.
You're going to get hit. Yeah.
He said, you're going to get hit. You don't go in a boxing ring and not expect to get hit. He says, once you get over the fact that you're going to get hit, then you can concentrate on your game plan. So for me, I've gone through that so many times to where when I would go into an audition or anything, I wouldn't be nervous. I'd have like anxiety of like, I want to do good. But for me, I had the confidence to where certain things didn't intimidate me or make me nervous, or I would be afraid of someone laughing at me. So when he came in with his book, I want to see it. And then I was like, do you do movies? And because I saw myself doing that. And then some, when he said what he did, I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to be in movies. And so this was the intro to, like, growing up in Massachusetts. It's a working town. So no one's like, I want to grow up to be an actor. Yeah. They're like, I want to be a cop. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a fireman. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to move away and go work for NASA. No one's talking about becoming an actor. Yeah. It's not like a real job. So I wasn't intimidated, and I was always curious to, and I love movies. I wanted to be in that world.
That's a great response. So I want to go to the role specifically, right? Mm-hmm. So in the movie Chuck, right, series, you playing one of the greatest, not boxers, but just the greatest athletes in the world, like ever existed, right? Mm-hmm. So what it was like what do you feel? So, because you are coming from boxing background, playing Muhammad Ali. Mm-hmm.
First of all, Muhammad Ali was the greatest. And he was one of my fighters who I emulated or were my go-to was Muhammad Ali, Roy Jones, and Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea. And when I fought at 139, 147, 156, 165, and that's kind of where I ended. 65, 70, 72. I think 72 was like my last, and then I just started playing football. And I started lifting weights, and I got bigger. But like I never lost it. But playing Muhammad Ali, because I was very fluid. I was a southpaw. I fight as a southpaw, and Ali fights regular. So Liev Schreiber. We worked on Ray Donovan together, but we trained together.
Okay.
At Peter Berg's gym. Peter Berg, Freddie Roach, and the late Gary Shandling had their gym in Santa Monica, which it's in Santa Monica West. Can't remember the fight. Wild Card West.
Okay.
Wild Card West, and then. I don't know what happened. I think, I don't know if Freddie Roach and Pete went their separate ways because it's called Churchill Boxing now. So Liev and I are training, and he comes up to me. So we're warming up. And I think we're in the second season of Ray Donovan. And he goes, how would you like to play the greatest? And I didn't quite understand what he meant. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, I think you can play Ali. And my eyes got really big. And first of all, like Liev Schreiber is like a legend. That's my brother for real. And we played Brothers on Ray Donovan, whoever haven't seen it.
Yep.
And he comes to me, and Liev's tall. He was like probably 6'4", and he goes, I think you can play Ali. And now, mind you, we have sparred many a times together, and Liev's a good fighter too. And I was excited, and I said, well, what's up? So I tell my agent, I tell Marnie at the time, and she's like, okay, well, let us know what's up. So they finally reach out. So he's like, Pooch, what's your email? Gave the email. And so we set it all up. And then I had to go do this Muhammad Ali performance audition. So I already had the boxing stuff down. Liev knew this. So Liev was validating me to the producers.
Gotcha.
Avi Lerner, Mike Tolan was the executive producers. And they were like, well, I don't know. And so I killed it. And so Philippe Nadar, he's a French guy who won an Oscar for a documentary, was our director. And I kept getting all these notes. And I was like, shit. I was like, it's almost like they don't want me to have this part. And I was like, there's no one out there who looks like me, who looks like Ali, can throw it down and also, all this stuff, right? And I did probably like 3 or 4 auditions, and then I booked it. And then we went into this intense fight choreography, because the movie was about Chuck Wepner that spawned the Rocky series. So Chuck Wepner fought Ali, and the story behind Chuck Wepner was he was supposed to fight George Foreman after the Thriller in Manila, but then Ali beat George. So, and Chuck Wepner's telling us this story. So he goes, I thought that's it for me. He's like, I'm gonna get a shot to go, against George Foreman. And he said he gets a call. No, they're watching the fight, and he's like, holy shit. He's like, Ali won. So Ali beat, George. So he thought his shot was done, but then he still got a call from Don King, and then they went through with the fight. And he said fighting Ali, there's something about Ali that was so special. It's one of the reasons why he's the greatest. He was such a graceful fighter, just no one like him, no one close to him. Maybe the closest, in my opinion, is Floyd. But Ali was his own.
Yeah, it's like a flawless.
Oh my God,
movement,
he was
right?
his own. Yeah, he was his own magic. He was his own magic, and he got the call, and it was more so. And this is something that I learned from all the guys I know in the NBA who used to talk about Mike. And Jalen Rose said, the thing about Mike is Jordan had you beat before they even played a game.
Yeah.
People found themselves in awe and mesmerized by him in warm-ups, just watching him. And Ali had that same thing, from watching him on press conferences, watching his camps, and just he was so beautiful. He was such a beautiful fighter. And he's like, oh man. So he said, I was intimidated. I was nervous, and he said, but at the same time, I wanted to work hard to give him a good fight. And to piggyback on, Chuck telling us this, it was the same thing getting that part to where I wanted to, and he was alive at the time when I did Chuck, I wanted to dive in and become him, become Ali.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anyone saying, oh, you didn't channel Ali, or like Will Smith was a better Ali, and all this, that, and the third. I became Ali. And because I could fight, I could channel that inner fighter. And it was probably one of my best roles and best opportunities I was really excited for. So huge shout out to Leah for looking out for me. And go check out the movie Chuck. It's actually a really, really good movie. Ron Perlman, Michael Rappaport, Naomi Watts, like Christina Hendricks. Like it's a great film. Oh, Jim Gaffigan, who was hilarious.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. It's a great. You guys check it out, right? The film Chuck.
Chuck,
right?
yeah.
Excellent. So, do you think? And again, we're talking about Hollywood, right? And there's a lot of people coming to LA, right? But sure enough, not a lot get to the level and get into the movie, and that's tough.
Yeah.
Would you say the athletic background gave you an edge in Hollywood? Like, gave you certain things you said, if not
absolutely.
that, I'm probably not going to be there. Or
no, it absolutely does. And what's crazy is you'll have actors who never played sports. It's so funny. I'm not laughing, and like, listen, each person's background and upbringing is different. But there's been so many actors that in auditions, they didn't, know sports.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So somebody booked this ESPN commercial. And so when I signed with Dynasty, I get this call. I don't even know where. I think I was at the gym, actually.
Okay.
They're like, Pooch. They go, what are you doing right now? I'll never forget it. It was, so the owner's son, Scott, calls me. He goes, Pooch, what are you doing right now? I was like, I'm in the gym. He goes, can you get to Dedham? In I don't know, like 45 minutes. And I look at I didn't have a watch at the time, but I looked at the clock. I go, yeah, what's up? He goes, all right, we had a problem. He goes, ESPN's shooting this commercial. They cool. for the Zone. They did the ESPN Zone, which is a little restaurant things that they do, right? And they were shooting a promo to advertise for it. And they hired one of our guys, doesn't know how to play baseball, but he said on his resume he could.
He could, yeah.
And I go, well, what's up? They go, yeah, they don't want him. So this is true Hollywood story. And I go, well, shit, where I go? And he goes, you got a pen? And I said, no, I get one. So I got a pen. He gave me the address, right? And he goes, get there now. So I take a quick shower. I jam down there. I'm whipped. I couldn't get there fast enough.
Yeah.
It's like, So I get there and there's this huge setup. And I was like, whoa. And they go, hey, Pooch, and they go, first thing they asked me, they go, can you play baseball? And I was like, yeah, although I didn't play, I played softball, but my brother played baseball, my uncle played baseball. I mean, played wiffle ball. And I go, yeah, what's up? And now I said, now if you're looking for a 100-mile fastball, I said, I can't help you. I can't help you. So they go, no. So they go, get your ass. They go, all right, I don't know if you're friends with that, that kid. And I go, no, I don't know him. And he goes, you guys are in the same agency. And I said, no, what's up? He goes, bro. He goes, we're getting ready to shoot. And then we're going to shoot him at the batter thing. Yeah. He goes, this dude grabs the bat by the wrong end. And he goes, he's like, cut. They go, you know what you're doing? He goes, yeah. And he goes, I don't think you do. And he's like, what do you mean? He goes, you're holding the bat upside down, right? And then he just didn't look like a baseball player. So, they said, we got to get rid of him. They go, our client, ESPN, all this, that, and the third. We don't want to look like fools. So we shot it. I did all these stuff. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And then, the first time I saw it was at Anaheim Disney, where I saw the promo for the first time. I was like, whoa. But athleticism plays a huge role from, doing your own stunts, being able to physically, I was just in Bulgaria. We shot this World War II film, and I'm in the real World War II garments and stuff, and it was real heavy. Oh my God. And carrying the gun around and like trucking through all the terrain and all this, and you have to be physically fit to be
right?
able to
It's a
do
real
that.
struggle, physical.
So, and then, you got the director, Shane Dax, who's our director, who also played, I believe Division I AA basketball.
Wow.
In Kentucky. He's from Kentucky, but a great friend, real good basketball player. That's how we met during pickup. And when he's giving the direction, it's the same thing as like when you're calling
Coaching,
a timeout, right? You're calling a timeout and we're trying to run a play because, hey guys, it's 3 seconds left. We gotta win this game.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing where a coach is explaining to these athletes the shot that we need, and then, or the shot on a setup to where we need to execute it for, as we call the last shot of the day is the martini, to get what we need. So having that sports background, that ability to, okay, here's the play that Coach Igor is playing. I know that I'm supposed to come off the screen, wait for the pass, make the, whatever up fake go, and then, get the layup. We should win the game. And it's the same thing is that mindset to focus in on what your job is to get the job done. And so being an athlete helped in so many different ways, from mindset to focus, just determination and that will to, I'm not leaving this scene without letting John Boyd know that I came to play today.
Yeah.
And just like he's trying to win, I'm trying to win too. So hopefully we have a great scene, which is a win for all of us. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things when you look at good cinema, from TV to plays to movies, is the actors for the most part are coming to do their job, and the people who make it to those positions, for the most part, were the cream of the crop, the best of whoever went in for that role for the most part. And we know what's at stake. It's just the same as it's big business, just like any pro sport. It's big business.
Big business, huge.
Yeah. So you got to do your job for us to win.
Yeah. Thank you, Pooch. That's incredible. We had the last part of the show, which is financial and investing, right? The background of the whole experience, right? Going on a high level.
Sure.
And the question is, like, there is a wealth challenges, there's a financial challenges with success.
Yeah.
Because like same as over in the second, say the same, like you prepare for that for the whole life, and then boom, all of a sudden everybody's saying you got famous in 1 second.
Right.
You prepare yourself for 20 years of doing that, and then all of a sudden you got all the fame, all the financials, everybody wants to talk to you, right? Money flowing in. Can you tell us a little bit about the challenges which is encounter, like people, like 78% of NFL players are broke within 2 years?
Well, I'll give you and that's actually a big topic. And I'm working on a project with Dominique Wilkins where we touch on all of this stuff with athletes and their lives off the field, off the court. And from my personal experience as far as being an actor, because it's similar, and I hung out with a lot of NFL and NBA guys and then of course, grew up on ESPN, watching sports, and then hearing the horror stories of like, wait a second, this guy got this deal. How is he broke? Or, how is he homeless? And there are so many different factors that go into play. And so from my experience, especially, as a Black athlete, we weren't poor, we were middle class. And my dad, whom I'm super grateful and thankful for, because he gave me a mindset that there isn't anything that I can't accomplish or do, putting my mind to it. And The one thing I remember growing up with my dad is he wasn't the best with money, and neither was my mom. And he made decent money because he worked in construction, but he wasn't the best investor. And I say that to say this, you know, coming into the money part of it as a black athlete, or as, you know, young black, you know, up and coming star or athlete, you don't have it, but then when you get it, it opens up so many different things. And, you know, I'm sure you heard the famous term by Biggie, more money, more problems. Yes, if you don't know how to use it and take advantage of it, because when you make it to a certain bracket, there are advantages that you have, you know, where most likely you become a corporation, but you have that money. And a lot of people think that, yeah, you make a lot of money, but it doesn't mean yes, it's yours. And for the most part, anyone can do whatever they want with their money, but you want to be smart. And one of the things in which I learned later as it was happening was the investment part, which I wasn't great at based off of my parents didn't invest in whether properties or stocks or, you know, having the money work for them, because it was always about playing catch up. So in my opinion, when you get the money and what's crazy about it, Igor, is let's just say a person's who's never, you know, the most money they've ever seen. Let's say it was a good week at work or huge birthday gift, and maybe they're seeing $300, $400, $500 cash from a check from a good week, or $1,000 back in the day when I was growing up. And you're like, yeah. And then it's like, well, you know, I gotta pay for food, gotta pay for like whether rent, or I want to get those new Jordans, or gotta pay for gas, survival. So then all of a sudden that huge paycheck is now you're like kind of pissed because I still want to go out, or I want to go have a nice dinner with that girl I was talking to. So you get like frustrated to where like, man, what, like, how do I make this money? How does they get this? And I make more money, but they have a house and he's driving this. And one of the things in which I'm explaining to Jordan is I want you to learn about money now.
Your son.
Yeah. I want you to learn about money now because you want your money to work for you, not you like blowing through and say, okay, well, my paycheck next week's going to be huge, so I'll start then. No, you start now to where you recognize, do I really need this? Is this a good investment? You know, what stocks are up or I should look into to maybe invest. And when you don't have that education, you're not really sure what to do with it. So when you don't know what to really do with your money, then in my opinion, I think you spend it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I'm superstar Joe. I can go buy whatever I want. And then it's like, but do you really need it? Now, I'm not saying people don't have their likes or hobbies or what have you, but unless you're making like LeBron money or Kobe Bryant money or Michael Jordan money, you know, why do you want to have why do you want to have 4 Corvettes, the same Corvette, different colors? You're not going to be able to drive them all. You just want them just to have them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think and from what I've heard, they said LeBron is very good with money, as maybe that came from Kobe, because I know Kobe Bryant was very good with money. And like, I think I heard it was Kevin Love who was saying LeBron was cheap. I'm, you know, paraphrasing that he's very, you know,
he knows what he wants.
He knows what he wants.
Right?
And, you know, I'm sure he has a great team. And same thing with like Michael Jordan, because when Michael Jordan exploded on the scene, he was the first of his kind, the first with the shoe deal. I mean, the Jordans did like crazy numbers for Nike, and he's getting all that money. And maybe Mike, because I believe his mom said he was good in math. So you have to know what to do with your money when you recognize you have that much, that as soon as you get it, it's gone, because you have to survive. And if you have a big life that you want to live, that's expensive. You know what I mean? And it's so funny too, because I worked on this project, and this producer, they were shooting a film, I think in Utah, and Nicolas Cage was shooting, and they drove by a car dealership.
Okay.
No, was it you? It was either Utah or Vegas, Arizona, because it was not too far from LA. And they said he bought a yellow Lamborghini and had it parked outside his trailer. Nicolas Cage. And then he would come out his trailer and he would look at it, and everyone was like, whoa, that thing's awesome. Yeah, you know what? They're like, what, you don't like it? He goes, no, I love it. He goes, I think I like the red one too. They go, so you're going to switch this to get the, he goes, no, I'm going to get the red one too. And so they're shooting this movie. God, I don't remember which movie it was, but he bought the yellow one and then bought the red one and then had him parked outside his trailer. And so they were like, okay, so how are you going to get it back to LA? And then he's just like, well, someone will drive. He goes, someone will drive one, or maybe I'll drive one, and then someone else will drive one, or whatever. But it was one of these things to where he just bought it just to have it. I mean, if people have done any research or have heard that there was one time that, and I don't want to talk about anyone's finances, that there might have been some money issues or something that he may have had. And it's moves like that are dangerous, where if you buy something off of impulse, you may find yourself, because it's not like a knee-jerk reaction, like I just want to buy it, but then it's like, do you really need it? And next thing you know, it's like, you know what? I want to get another one. And now your bank account may shrink, because eventually it catches up to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But that's a story that was told to me about, I think it was my DP, but they had said that whatever movie where Nick Cage bought the yellow and the red Lamborghini, that's the whatever movie that was and what have you. But I think when you're making that money as these young athletes, especially being young, you want to be smart about it. So as an actor coming into what it is that I'm doing, you want to make sure that you're investing right, you're saving, especially when you're living in LA, because, you never know when your next job is going to come, as far as athletes getting injured or what have you. Because in my opinion, those contracts are in place for a reason. And sometimes there are, loopholes or clauses in there to where what you think you are supposed to get or expecting may not get, because you don't work hard in practice, you gain weight, or you get hurt, or you're not executing what's expected of you as far as what they want to pay you. So you're still, yes, you may be a basketball player or an actor, but you still are required to do a job because they're paying you. So it is a business. And I tell people that all the time. Yes, I'm an actor, but it's still show business. People are paying you for your service. So you have to do what you have to do to make sure you're holding up your end of the bargain to continue to get paid and get all those perks and or raises.
Absolutely. Pooch, I feel like I can talk for another 4 hours.
Oh, thanks,
and
man.
I want to talk for another 4 hours, but we got to wrap it up.
Sure.
Thank you for the words of wisdom.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming down on the show. Where people can find out more about you or maybe connect to you. So
sure, I am on Instagram at I am Pooch Hall. On X, I am _Pooch Hall, and Facebook, official Pooch Hall. And keep your eyes and ears open. I have some projects that are about to drop. Family Business, New Orleans on BT Plus, and soon on Netflix. And then docu-series for Netflix called The Games We Play, where it's a docu-series where I'm narrating, and I'm also in one episode from the beginning of games, from when they first originated to all the way up and through video games. And then I'm working on a project now with Dominic Wilkins, which I'm excited for people to see when we get it going. We're in the process of making the moves now.
Thank you for coming down.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, Bo.
Enjoy. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.